Yes, I Canada!
I was a lonesome cowboy, lonesome as I could be. You came along and changed my life, fixed what was broken in me.
Howdy partners, welcome to my latest movie review, where today I review the fourth film in the Toy Story film series, Toy Story 4, the completely unnecessary, completely unasked for, completely unwarranted sequel to the original Toy Story trilogy, released in 2019, directed by Josh Cooley, stars all the cast from the first three movies plus a few more. So Toy Story 4, now this movie was released 9 years after the original series ended. It was made because Pixar felt that they had an idea that was so good, they had to make the fourth one. Whether you believe that or not is up to you, but we got this movie, and obviously now we got the fifth one, so yeah. The plot of Toy Story 4 is as follows. When Woody, Buzz, and the gang join Bonnie on a road trip with her new toy, Forky, the innocent little spork's antics launch Woody on a wild quest. So, Toy Story 4. Now, when this movie came out in 2019, I remember going to see it a few times because it really surprised me how much I enjoyed it. And even to this day, I have to say, I still really enjoy this movie. Is it perfect? No. Is it as good as the first three? No. But this is actually a really solid movie. Surprisingly solid. Essentially, Toy Story 4 acts as a bit of an epilogue to the third one, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of wrapping up Woody's emotional arc, as well as addressing one elephant in the room that we didn't get in Toy Story 3, which was Bo Peep. And Toy Story 4, to me, also expands the world of Toy Story in the sense of the setting. The fact that it goes to this carnival, it's a whole new dimension, and it really makes the canvas of this series a lot bigger. So in that aspect, I did really like the dynamics of going to a carnival and seeing toys that were trapped in a carnival and needing to be rescued. But the central drama of Toy Story 4 is really good, and the fact is, it follows the charm and traditions of the first three movies, in that there is one major storyline and there's a big emotional through line with that, and that is Woody's character arc, in that he really is without a purpose now that Andy's moved on and given the toys to Bonnie. Woody is finding himself disregarded. It's quite an interesting direction to take the story, because Woody was always the favorite with Andy, but Andy was a boy. Bonnie is a girl, and she's just not that interested in cowboys. So Woody really is looking for some kind of purpose. He really wants to make Bonnie happy, but Woody has a lot of misplaced loyalty, and you really get the sense that he is struggling mentally. He just doesn't know what to do with himself, because he's trying to please this kid who he loves, but at the same time she doesn't want him. So that's why when he goes to the kindergarten with her and she makes Forky, he tries desperately to get Forky back to Bonnie because he wants to make her happy. But it's interesting to see how futile his efforts are. You know, he goes to all that length and all that effort for it to kind of be disregarded by Bonnie. Obviously, Bonnie's a kid, so she's not aware that the toys come to life. She's not aware everything that's going on in the periphery of her life. But it's really interesting for Woody to get to that point of misplaced loyalty and also having a lack of purpose. And I think that's what makes Toy Story 4 really intriguing. And the drama is sort of essential, I think. Essential because we've never seen Woody sort of pushed to this point where he's literally he's got nothing to do. He needs to find a new direction, and he's sort of clinging on to this misplaced loyalty. And there's that great scene where he talks to Bo and he says, I'm doing this because it's all I have left to do. I've got nothing else to do. It's the constant fixation that he has, and again, the loyalty that he has. But it almost is he's his own worst enemy in that regard. So from that aspect, I get why they made this movie, because Woody has always been one of those characters who will do anything for the kid that he loves, and anything for his owner. But in this case, the perspective is flipped. So I think it is a really interesting piece of drama. As well as that, it's nice to see Bo Peep come back. We get Annie Potts as Bo Peep. She's this sort of more harder-edged character now. She's not so lovey-dovey like she was in the first two movies, where she was kissing Woody the whole time. Instead, she's going around the carnival, saving toys, going on adventures, seeing the world. You know, she's quite happy to kind of roam free. And I think that's a nice change. That's a nice, interesting change of her character, how she's completely different when she reunites with Woody. There's still a bit of a spark there, but there's also a bit of tension, because Woody and her don't really have the same ideals anymore, and they don't sort of see eye to eye. And I think it's an interesting, pathway for their relationship. I mean, they are technically together again. I mean, it's not really explicitly stated, but I still think there is a lot of romantic chemistry there. There's one or two scenes where he does look at her and they sort of exchange a few glances. So there is still a spark there of chemistry, but obviously things have changed since Toy Story 2, and she wasn't in Toy Story 3. This movie isn't perfect. There are some drawbacks, and one of the drawbacks is that some of the main characters who we got to know so well in 2 and 3, like Potato Head, Ham, Rex, Mrs. Potato Head, Slinky, they're not in this movie that much. They kind of stay in the RV for most of it. They do get involved in the climax of the film, where they try to stop Bonnie's parents from driving away so soon before Woody and the others get back to the carousel. But other than that, they don't really do very much, which is a real shame. Even Jessie has a very limited role in this movie, which is, well, that's going to be made up for in number 5. But obviously, there's a lot of characters, and not everybody can have a major role. But Toy Story is at its best when it is involving everybody, when the whole group is involved in the big story. That to me is more interesting. The comedy is good in this movie. I did laugh quite a few times, especially with Ducky and Bunny, the new characters who, when they present their ideas to people, we see flashes of what their ideas are, and when they jump out and scare the old lady, that is quite funny. And Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves, is well, he's basically Keanu Reeves, but he's hilarious. He's this stunt biker who had an owner who thought that Duke could actually fly on his rocket-fueled bike, but it's a commercial, so the kid was obviously misled by that. But no, Keanu Reeves is funny in this movie, and he's a great addition to the cast. Ali Maki as Giggle McDimples, who's a very tiny little, I guess, Tamagotchi-like figure, who is like a policewoman figure, and she's a sidekick to Bo Peep. She was quite good. I enjoyed her brief role in this movie. Christina Hendricks as Gabby Gabby. Gabby Gabby is a very interesting character. She's initially set up to be antagonistic because she tries to steal Woody's voice box because she wants to use the voice box to repair herself to connect with her child, Harmony. The sad truth is that, much like how Bonnie doesn't really want Woody, Harmony doesn't really want Gabby Gabby. And Gabby Gabby is also looking for love. She just wants to be loved. She's been stuck in the antique store all this time, and she is looking for a purpose and someone to love her. So I like the fact that her and Woody can kind of relate to each other, despite the fact she does try to do the wrong things for the right reasons. There are some genuinely moving scenes in this movie. It's not quite as heavy-going as the original trilogy, but there are some very touching and tender moments, especially the opening scene where Woody says goodbye to Bo when she's been given away. That moment is really beautiful. And of course, the end of the movie where Woody decides to stay with Bo and live a life saving toys at the carnival. I think that's a great ending for him, and I think it really solidifies his emotional arc because it gives him a new purpose in life, and he's not clinging on to one kid all the time, and he could be doing so much more out there, and he gets to be with Bo, so everybody wins. It's a very bittersweet, heartwarming ending, and I think that's why, for me, they get away with making this movie, even though I could have been happy with just the trilogy. I still am not upset that they made Toy Story 4 because I think that it's, to me, the best ending Woody could have had. Speaking of the opening scene, though, the opening is brilliant of this film. It's really cinematic. It's so well animated. It's really impressive when they're holding Woody by the pull string. He's trying to grab the RC car who's stuck in the guttering in the rain at night. It's really quite an intense opening. And I have to say, that was when I realized how far the animation technology had come. When I saw it in 2019, I was like, whoa, okay, so we went from very blocky characters in 1995 to that. That is impressive right there. The music is good too, by Randy Newman. Some of the scores are, reused themes from other films, and there are some new songs in the film from Randy Newman. So it does, again, it feels like there is still some of that magic from the originals there. I will say though, one of the other plot lines that sort of confuses me is Buzz. Buzz has this whole thing about his inner voice where he presses his button and he's like talking to himself. I didn't really register what that was all about because Buzz knows he's a toy at this point. He knows he's been a toy all this time, ever since the first movie. So this, to me, has come completely out of nowhere and it doesn't really work with his character. It feels a bit weird to suddenly do this. It does kind of, it just seems very silly. I don't know why they did it. It's an unnecessary thing right there. And the movie's great fun. It's probably one of the biggest films of the series, again, because of the scope of the carnival, and you can have a lot of fun watching it. There's a lot of thrills and spills, and there's a big adventure, and all the comedy with Bonnie and her parents trying to drive away, and all the toys saying, "Oh, Dad's going to jail," and all that. That was nice. I did appreciate that. Again, this movie is not perfect. It's very flawed. It has its issues, but I do really enjoy this movie for what it is. It's great fun. It's definitely weaker than the first three, but it still has its charm and it still has its emotion in the right place. And the drama is very central here. And the character of Forky actually is rather good, I have to say. That was the one thing I was concerned about when I saw the trailers. I thought, oh no, this is going to be the most annoying character ever. He's actually really not that annoying. He does go through a little bit of existentialism where he thinks he's a piece of trash and he tries to throw himself away. But Woody is trying to convince him that he's a toy. And I like the whole dilemma that Forky goes through. He goes through a little bit of character development, which is quite nice. But he is a comedic character, although they keep the laughs to the bare minimum, which I think is nice. So it's nice to know that they made this film with a lot of love and care. But I'd be lying if I said it was perfect, because it's not. I initially rated it quite highly when I first saw it, but now I'm going to rate this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's good. And I think this is where they should have left it. You know, either the third one or this one is where they should have left it. But that's just my opinion. What do you think of Toy Story 4? Please comment down below. Let me know. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Bye for now.